Part 15. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 141. Chapter 141 I have no money to hire you. I have been his true fan since he debuted. Kui Yin looked at Gui Chen Chen, and he must have been very moved in his heart. However, the reality is that it does not. I heard that you entered the entertainment industry because of our family. Chen Chen, a staff member, asked, joining in the fun. Kui Yin nodded without hesitation. It is indeed the case. Her family members have been engaged in business and finance for generations. In her generation, it was the first time that she broke the rules and actually became a star. She is the only girl in the family, and it is important for the family to pamper her. If she cries or makes trouble, the family will have no choice but to obey his little princess. However, the premise is that if she can't get along with Gui Chen Chen in the entertainment industry, if that's the case, I'll come back and inherit the family business. In 2 years, she was able to reach the top. This was to become a god. However, for the man she loves, she agreed that one day, she will stand on the highest stage in the world with the person she likes. The hot pot ended in gossip, and Gui Chen Chen did not participate in the entire topic, which was rare and very acceptable. We will continue shooting in the afternoon. Because they were playing games, they were divided into 3 groups. However, Gui Chen Chen and Kui Yin were not grouped together. The script was that even if they were not grouped together, the 2 people should naturally get together. Kui Yin abandoned his teammates and followed Gui Chen Chen. Because Gui Chen Chen's legs are too long, Kui Yin has to run to keep up with him. Gui Chen Chen, can you slow down? I'm sweating. Kui Yin was panting heavily from behind, thinking about the scene where the hero wiped the heroine's sweat. And I'm going to faint from the sweetness. Unexpectedly, Gui Chen Chen directly poured a basin of cold water on her head. Then go back to your own team, your teammates will hold an umbrella and blow a fan for you. After saying that, he proudly said, I know way. It's okay if you don't know it, why should you say it out loud? Kui Yin felt extremely wronged. The little princess who was pampered and grew up turned into a loveless Cinderella in front of Gui Chen Chen. Then you can wipe my sweat for me. She ran to him with all her strength, handed him the tissue, and looked up at him expectantly. She wants to feel the feeling of being pampered by the boy she likes. That feeling must be amazing. Ghost Chen Chen glanced down at her. It happened that his hand touched some oil while eating hot pot at noon today, and it was just enough to wipe it off. He took the tissue in Kui Yin's hand. Just when Kui Yin was excited and ready to feel this wonderful feeling, Gui Chen Chen suddenly wiped his hands with it, threw it back to her, and politely said thank you. Choi Ye-ian is petrified. Are you a human? Calm down, he is the boy I like. While playing the game, Gui Chen Chen had no sympathy for Kui Yin at all. He treated her equally as she should. The opponent's teammates complained that he, a straight man, had cancer, but he didn't take it seriously. The recording of the program ended, and Kui Yin was very reluctant to leave. Although they signed with the same agency, they basically could not meet each other unless they cooperated. Before leaving, Kui Yin pulled Gui Chen Chen and said, you can hire me as your assistant. When the assistant on the side heard this, he immediately sat upright. A dangerous aura came to him. This was someone blatantly trying to steal his job. I have no money to hire you, Gui Chen Chen said without hesitation. Choi Ye-ian is petrified again. This is blatantly telling lies with your eyes closed. End of this chapter. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 142. Chapter 142 You want to hack me? I don't want money, Kui Yin said anxiously. Gui Chen Chen thought for a while and suddenly said, you want to blackmail me? Fortunately, he reacted quickly, otherwise he would have been blackmailed by fake fans. Don't think he doesn't know. She claims to be her true fan, but she is actually a negative fan. She wants to expose the dirty facts about him hiring assistants without paying them. If he has a bad character, he will not be fooled by her. After all, he is a vampire who has lived for nearly 1,000 years, and he still has this IQ. Choi Ye-in is petrified again. What kind of imagination is he having? She looked at Gui Chenchen's leaving figure in despair. After all, the distance was too far. When could she slowly get closer to him? To her, Gui Chen was like a shining star out of reach, admired by everyone, while she was just a speck of dust in the desert, unremarkable. I heard that the fairy tale drama As Is has been officially announced, and the leading actor has chosen my male god, Gui Chen suddenly. The extras from the crew next door who were passing by began to whisper excitedly. I want to rush to grab the show. Wait for me. Chui Yin had an idea and the opportunity came. She searched online for information about this fairy tale drama. The producer was another agency, and he also saw that the director of this drama was openly recruiting some high-quality actors with works, traffic, and acting skills. Although the roles were small, but it is an indispensable character in the story. Choi Ye-in has taken a fancy to a role, which is destined to be a tragedy. The name of the character is Xiao Yi, a demon who has been with the male protagonist since childhood. He secretly likes him but dare not express it because the relationship between them is only that of master and servant and cannot be crossed. There are only so many introductions to this role online, but Kui Yin can't wait to win this role. But she is still a newcomer. She needs works but no works, traffic but no traffic, and acting skills but no acting skills. What can she do to win this role? There are so many outstanding actresses in the entertainment industry, unless something good like Pie in the Sky falls on her. But no matter what, she had to give it a try. How would she know how strong she was if she didn't try? She was sitting in front of the computer, looking at the resume template, but she didn't know what to write. Because she really has no acting experience. 12 hours, a full 12 hours of writing. I wrote and revised, and continued writing. It was repeated countless times. In the end, I was not so confident when I looked at the finished product. In the morning, she had some dark circles under her eyes, so she covered them casually, took her resume and went out. There were many people who came to the audition. At first glance, they all looked like heads. They were all beautiful, slender, and tall. Most of them have excellent works that can be produced, and those who cannot produce works are embarrassed to appear here. I don't know what kind of bad temper the director of the drama the same has, and how strict he is in selecting actors, so that he has created hit dramas for 10 consecutive years. Kui Yin was ranked 500th in the queue, and girls came in one after another from behind. Chui Yin couldn't help but shudder. For such a small role, nearly 1,000 people came to audition. The audition was very fast. If Director Chen didn't think it would work at first glance, he wouldn't even have a chance to say hello to him, and he would pass directly and move on to the next person. The audition scene was intense and brutal. Chui Yen, who grew up in a greenhouse, has also faced such intense scenes. With her family background, she could definitely use the money to buy this role, but this is not what she wants. Money will only make it meaningless. After 3 hours of standing in the crowded crowd, it was finally her turn. About 5 minutes passed, and she walked out, holding her resume in her hand. She lowered her head and shed a tear. He has never been wronged like this before, and no one has ever dared to scold her face to face since she was a child. Her young mind was greatly traumatized. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zai. Chapter 143. Chapter 143 Getting a Character. Kui Yen returned home and locked herself in her room depressed. She originally thought that the entertainment industry was not as difficult as she thought, but this was the first audition that frightened her. No, she must win this role for Gui Chen Chen. Suddenly, the phone rang. It was an unfamiliar mobile phone number. Hello. Miss Kui Yen, congratulations, you have been selected to play the role of Xiaoai in the same Keep Up the Good Work competition. In the entertainment industry is very fierce now, and the risk of being replaced is still very high. From the sound of the voice, it should be that of the assistant director. The assistant director is not as harsh as Director Chen, but rather as amiable and approachable as an elder. Cui Yin was so excited that she almost jumped out of the ceiling. She couldn't wait to tell anyone the news. She didn't even have shoes on. She ran downstairs in bare feet, grabbed someone and told him loudly that she had got a role. Kui Yin's mother shook her head helplessly. There is still a long way to go, and one role cannot represent anything. After showing off to everyone, she quickly ran upstairs to check her mailbox and opened the script sent by the assistant director. Why is it only a short 5 pages? This character seems to have very few roles. She began to study the script. No, this character doesn't even have a single line. He stands behind the male protagonist as a background throughout the whole process, and he has to hide his love for the male protagonist. But fortunately, when Xiaoai turns into a human form, there is a scene where she looks at the male protagonist. Looking further, it turns out that it is a one-man show, and the male protagonist does not even look at her. After that comes a tragic death. Gone. This role is also too. She only had 5 scenes in total. In the first scene, she transformed into a human and fell in love with the male protagonist at first sight. In the other 3 scenes, she stood beside the male protagonist as a foil. In the 5th scene, she vomited blood and died tragically. Although this character is sad and tragic, this is also her debut film, and she is extremely lucky to be able to work with her male idol. Cui Yen began to study the script over and over again to fully understand Xiaoai's emotional fluctuations in order to restore the character. There is only 1 week left until the show starts filming, and she will use a week to fully understand this role. It is simply too difficult for her, a newcomer with no acting skills, no production experience, and no experience. After this week, she has been trying to figure out this character all the time, and only gives herself 5 hours of rest time a week. She cares too much about this drama, even if it is an insignificant role that only lasts a few seconds. However, this is her first work, and it is also the first work she collaborates with Gui Chen Chen. She is so lucky to be able to collaborate with a superstar in her first film. The opening ceremony was lively and extravagant. The actors all wore costumes corresponding to their roles, but she came in her own casual clothes. It's also strange, the director didn't tell her where to go to do styling, change clothes, etc. However, while she was wandering around, she saw a young man in flowing white clothes, with long black hair reaching his waist. He was so full of fairy spirit that people would mistakenly think that he was a who fell into the mortal world. She was stunned, and for a moment she forgot to run to him. Ghost Chen Chen. Kui Yin smiled and patted his shoulder. Gui Chen Chen turned his head, and the moment he looked back, Kui Yin felt that he had traveled to the world of immortals, and the young man in front of him was the king of the world of immortals. He was so beautiful that you forgot to breathe. End of this chapter. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 144. Chapter 144 Losing a Character. Why are you here? Gui Chen Chen frowned. It seems that he still doesn't know that the role of Xiaoai is destined for her. Cui Yin did not answer his question directly, but stretched out her hand and said to him with a smile, "Happy cooperation." Of course Gui Chen Chen understood what she meant and said, "You." Choi Yan knew what he was going to ask, so she told him one step ahead, I play Xiao Yi, who has a crush on you. She said it quietly, but she was very excited, and the big smile on her face could not hide the joy in his heart. Ghost Chen Chen squinted his eyes. I didn't expect to collaborate with you on my first work. Are you sure you're playing Xiao Yi and not yourself? Gui Chen Chen asked doubtfully, as this girl was still in her dream. Of course it's Xiao I. Look, I still have the script given to me by the assistant director. Kui Yin defended herself loudly and took out the 5-page printed script from her bag. Without even looking, Gui Chen Chen knew that the script in her hand had been replaced long ago, just like she had been replaced, silently. When he was about to tell her this cruel reality, suddenly a pure, tall, and beautiful woman came over. Kui Yan recognizes her. She is the actress Li Yi who has gained a lot of popularity and traffic recently because of an online drama. Because of an online drama, she was directly promoted from the 18th tier to the 3rd tier. Chen Chen, so you are here, the director is looking for you everywhere. Li Yi saw Kui Yin so close to Gui Chen Chen and deliberately walked over to knock her away. Kui Yin did not stand firm and staggered back a few steps. Can your eyes be normal? Gui Chen Chen said with disgust on his face. This is also to quickly integrate into the role of Xiaoi, so that it can be more realistic. What? Integrating into the role of Xiaoi, didn't Xiaoi decide her? Kui Yin grabbed Li Yi and asked fiercely, what did you just say? How could you play the role of Xiaoi? As a traffic star, Li Yi believed that he had a bright future. How could he be bullied by a little girl who had just grown up? He threw her hand away, pretended to pat his clothes, and looked at her with disdain. Don't you still think that the role of Xiaoi is yours? Haha, it's so ironic that you still work in the entertainment industry without knowing the basic rules of the game. What do you mean? You are really stupid. Xiaoi replaced me. How could you, a newcomer with no acting skills, no works, and no experience, take on such an important role? Also, your stupid character is really annoying, not to mention it's suitable for the entertainment industry, and my sister is kind enough to remind you. At this moment, Kui Yin's heart felt like it was stung by something. She prepared for a whole week for this role, which had only 5 scenes and each scene lasted only a few seconds. What ended up being replaced was ruthlessly replaced. Perhaps she really doesn't understand the rules of the game. The melon eaters in white clothes stood aside and looked at them as if they were watching a TV series. She didn't show any intention of speaking for Kui Yin, and looked at them with an expression of go on, why don't you continue? Sure enough, watching a drama is more interesting if you watch it face to face. Kui Yin glanced at Gui Chen Chen. She wanted him to help her, but she finally gave up. Why should he help her? All this is just wishful thinking on her part. He has no feelings for her at all. End of this chapter. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 145. Chapter 145. Maybe I can help you. She once again looked at the boy she had loved for 5 years affectionately, and finally turned and left. The opening ceremony was over, and when Gui Chen Chen was about to go back to rest, Gui Kale actually appeared at the filming scene. Haven't she already gone back? Why did she appear again? Moreover, she was followed by Aroali, who were her father's most capable assistants. Why were they here? He suddenly had an ominous premonition in his heart. It was not a simple matter for Aloali to come to the human world. How did you come? Where's brother Shenchi? Gui Kale asked. She searched everywhere, but she couldn't see Lun Shenchi. She couldn't even smell his breath, and even Yang Zizi was missing. Looking at his aggressive look, he was just looking for Yang Zizi in the name of Lun Shenchi. I don't know, perhaps because of this human girl, their brother-sister relationship ended here. You'd better tell me now, so as not to hurt the harmony between us brothers and sisters. Brothers and sisters? Oh, Have you ever cared about these? All you have ever cared about is a prosperous life. He didn't know why a man made Gui Kale so strange. My father asked me to bring brother Shenchi and Yang Zizi back, and he would execute them himself. What? Did you tell your father about them? How could you do this? What good will this do to her? She will only lose her true love. Isn't he afraid at all? That's right, it's me. I just want Yang Zizi to die and steal a man from me. This is what will happen. No, Lele, calm down. Father is not allowed to kill seeds. He wanted to tell them the truth, but he couldn't. He was now in a dilemma. No matter which step it was, she seemed to be in a dilemma. There is no way to escape the entanglement of death. What's wrong with a mere human being? He then ordered the vampire behind him, you must find Yang Zizi for me no matter what, and take her alive to see her father. Yes. Brother, my father is already very dissatisfied with you for not joining the vampire clan. If you interfere in this matter again and anger your father, things will not be that simple. What's more, it's not worth it for a human being. Gui Kale kindly reminded Gui Chen Chen. Zizi is our biological sister. If you dare to hurt her in the slightest, I won't let you go, Gui Chen Chen said harshly. Gui Kale suddenly laughed and said disdainfully, it is really a shame for our vampire family to recognize human beings as our biological sisters. After that, he disappeared. Gui Chen Chen asked for leave from the director and hurried home. He saw his brothers sitting in rows on the sofa, deep in thought, seeming to be thinking of some countermeasures. It seemed that they knew that Gui Kale was leading the children according to his father's orders. With Aluo Ali, he came to capture Yang Zizi and Lun Chenchi. How about we tell father directly that Yang Zizi is his biological daughter? Gui Nanchuan was a little impatient. No, we don't have any evidence. Father will not believe it. Even if he believes it, he will not let Zizi and Aries go. Gui Ziogu analyzed calmly. What should we do? Maybe I can help you. Suddenly, Mu Shinai, who had disappeared for a long time, appeared in front of them. The brothers' expressions instantly became tense. When did you come? Gui Nangxiang looked at him warningly. Don't worry, I heard what you said. Mu Shinai smiled jokingly, spread his hands and sat down on the sofa domineeringly, raised the corners of his mouth, and his eyes were as bright as dazzling. Hello, Your Highness the Vampire. Brothers' hearts sank. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 146. Chapter 146 Wedding Photos. Seeing the surprised looks in his brother's eyes, Mu Chenai smiled disapprovingly. Don't be surprised. In fact, I have known your identities for a long time. I discovered it on the first day I entered your house, but I didn't expose you. That's all. We will not cooperate with demons. Demons and vampires have always kept their peace, and we will not have anything to do with you. Gui Ziogu began to drive away the guests rudely. In any case, he could not have any relationship with the demons. Have anything to do with it? Demons are the most evil creatures in this world, and everyone knows this. Mu Shinai was not surprised when his identity was known, because the horns on his head were already exposed from the moment he entered. Cooperate, are you worthy? These words instantly angered Gui Nanshuang, and when he was about to fight, Gui Ziogu stopped him. The most important thing at this time is Yang Zizi, not wasting time on Mu Chenai. Gui Chen Chen and Gui Yunyo stood aside and bowed their heads in repentance. They almost sent their biological sister into the hands of the devil. Oh my God, this is too scary. Are you two going to pretend that you don't know me? I want you to be the one who pursues me. They instantly became stiff and at a loss when they were called. Their little eyes glanced at the other brothers, but they did not dare to meet their eyes, because even without looking, they knew how much their brothers wanted to stab them at this moment. Shen Yi laughed sarcastically at the scene and said to his brothers, Zizi is the devil queen recognized by the Lord, and the Lord will protect her forever. After saying that, just as he was about to turn around and leave, he turned slightly and said to them, your vampire sister and those two men are so weak. Miyagi Aben just made a little move, and hey, they ran away. The brothers clenched their fists. Isn't this clearly humiliating their vampires? However, they could not stand him. Aluo Ali, who was injured by Agi Aben, could only return to the vampire clan to heal his wounds. Although being injured by the devil could not kill them for the time being, it was extremely difficult to heal on his own. Wasting time. When Gui Zongliang heard that it was the work of a demon, he immediately became frightened. What is going on? Why do demons suddenly appear? Their target has always been angels. Could it be that they discovered the existence of angels in the human world? Impossible, angels were destroyed thousands of years ago, how could angels still exist? This trip lasted a week, and they went to 6 countries and took 6 carefully selected wedding photos. Yang Zizi considered these photos so valuable that he immediately changed his phone case and lock screen wallpaper. Everything that could be changed was replaced with their wedding photos. There is a poplar seed in it that I particularly like. The background of the photo is Iceland, and Lunchenchi's huge and exquisite wings protect her whole body in her arms. Romantic without losing favor. Yang Zizi held the big photo frame and gestured here and there to see where it would be best to hang it. The position he wanted was to be able to see this wedding photo as soon as he walked in. He wanted everyone to see it. Lunchenchi looked at his troubled child dotingly. How can it be so cute? Yang Zizi suddenly had an idea and hung the wedding photos on the door as a door hanger. Lunchenchi was so cute on the spot that his own child made him cry. Whose fairy child is this? Take it away, take it away. End of this chapter. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 147. Chapter 147, This master is here to rob someone. Why do you want to hang our wedding photos here? Lunchenchi hugged her waist from behind and asked gently. Because I want everyone to know that there are poplar seeds in your house and stay away. Lunchenchi smiled. This little guy is actually still jealous because those foreign girls keep staring at him. The brothers walked over in unison, and Yang Zizi immediately showed off, look, our wedding photos. The brothers don't seem that happy, but in order to make their sister happy, they naturally have to cooperate with her. There are several more photos, and Yang Zizi is wondering where they should be hung to be conspicuous. The brothers sat on the sofa and looked at the carefree Yang Zizi with solemn expressions. If you have anything to say, just say it. Lunchenchi saw what they were thinking. Father already knows about you and your sister. Gui Ziogu looked at him to see what he was going to do. Even if he regretted it, it was too late. They had expected such a day, but they just didn't expect it to come so soon. Lunchenchi was calm and composed, and did not let the news disrupt his position at all. He had already expected such a day. Father has asked Lele to take Aluo Ali to take you back and execute you personally. But Aluo Ali has been injured by Mushinai, and there will be no trouble for the time being. Gui Chenchen's expression also became serious. Muchen Yi, Lunchenchi was very confused. Could it be that his doubts were going to come true? That's right, Mushinai's true identity is actually a devil. Lunchenchi also felt heavy after learning the identity of Mushinai. But don't worry, Mushinai will not hurt his sister for the time being. After these days, he has fallen in love with her. This love is both lucky and unfortunate for my sister. Yang Zizi finally hung up the photo, jumped up to Lunchenchi, naturally and habitually sat on his lap, hooked his neck, and said sweetly, what are you talking about? Everyone frowned. I'm telling them the story of our trip. Lun Zhenji smiled softly and brushed her long hair behind her ears. Speaking of this, Yang Zizi was so excited that she chatted with her brothers for 2 hours. She was happy and excited, but her brothers were perfunctory because they were worried about her. Afterwards, Yang Zizi discovered that his brothers were actually in a very bad mood. Before her brothers went back, she specifically asked them why they were so worried. Her brothers all smiled fondly at her, because I'm jealous. These brothers, as brothers, are actually jealous of their brother-in-law. Moreover, they are not really brothers and sisters, but they are closer to each other than real brothers and sisters. The brothers dote on her unconditionally. The morning of the second day, a limited edition sports car suddenly parked in front of the villa. Yang Zizi, who had just finished brushing his teeth, thought it was Bai's Hishu who had arrived, so he trotted to open the door with his slippers on. The person who suddenly appeared in front of her was Mu Shanai. He held a bouquet of flowers in his hand and gave it to her like a cool man. Before Yang Zizi could react, Lun Zhenji had already appeared between them. He stepped back from her, his eyes full of caution and anger, his back slightly arched, ready to fight at any time. When Shen Yi saw that Lun Zhenji was about to duel with him, he laughed disdainfully. I'm not here to fight with you, I'm here to rob someone. End of this chapter. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 148. Chapter 148. Vampires have no heart. Lun Zhenji raised the corners of his mouth and sneered, are you sure you want to steal my woman from me openly? Your woman? Oh, I declare that she is now my woman, Mu Chanai said domineeringly. Mu Chanai, what are you talking about? I don't like you at all, Yang Zizi told him loudly. It was also a joke. When did he become his woman? Not only was Shen Yi not irritated, but he laughed and said, human women just like duplicity. As he was about to bypass Lun Zhenji and pull Yang Zizi to his side, Lun Zhenji couldn't help but attack him. Stop, stop fighting, Yang Zizi shouted loudly. Looking at this situation, Lun Zhenji was at a disadvantage and seemed to be no match for Mu Shanai. His brothers also told him that demons are much more powerful than vampires. Only then will the angel race be exterminated. She was anxious to ask her brothers for help, but they seemed to be out hunting now, and there was no movement at all in the villa. The war seemed to be getting more intense again, and the arrow appeared in Mu Chanai's palm. Yang Zizi suddenly panicked and was at a loss. He knew this arrow. It was the arrow that killed Gu Xing instantly. At the end of the scene, Shen Yi drew his bow and arrow and aimed it ruthlessly at Lun Zhenji. Yang Zizi was horrified and teleported to Lun Zhenji, closing his eyes and waiting for death to come. But he didn't feel the pain of the arrow piercing his head for a long time. She opened her eyes carefully and saw that the center of the arrow was only 1 millimeter away from her eyebrows. Fortunately, Mu Chanai caught the flying arrow in time and was able to save her life. Shen Yi looked at him blankly, with a cold look in his eyes and a sneer on his lips. He had never seen a man willing to lay down his life for others. The arrow disappeared in his hand. Mu Chanai, let me tell you, if you dare to hurt my uncle, I will not let you go. He suddenly became careless, and this sentence was in vain. How much ability can a human being not let go of him? Since she won't let him go, how can he let her go? No matter what, you are the owners, forever and ever, life after life, you are the owners. Even if I kill all the races for you, I won't hesitate. If you don't want him to die under my master's arrows, then be my master's concubine. His eyes suddenly became gentle, and he reached out to touch his face. Lun Zhenji quickly stopped him from touching Yang Zizi. You can also touch my woman. Seeing that the two people were about to start a fight over a disagreement, Yang Zizi quickly got between them. Can you please stop using violence to solve problems? I have the final say as to whose woman I am, Mu Shen Yi. From beginning to end, I love Lun Zhenji, please stop entangled. Mu Shenyi suddenly sneered and said with a sneer, Yang Zizi, do you think vampires have love? They don't even have any love in their hearts. I will wait for you to change your mind and be with me, he said, finished and left. What he said is right, vampires have no heart, Lun Zhenqi said slowly, but in his heart he was very clear that he had fallen in love with a human being, and he was so in love that he could not extricate himself. Just because you don't have feelings for other people doesn't mean you don't have feelings for me. I have always believed in you. Yang Zizi hugged him tightly. He has never questioned the feelings between them. Because she believed from beginning to end that they loved each other deeply, no matter what happened. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 149. What is the purpose of chapter 149? On the way to leave, Shenyi was suddenly blocked by a vampire who did not know whether to live or die. It seems that the lessons I have given you are not enough, and you even dare to block the way of the Lord. Ghost Kale smiled nonchalantly and said, I never thought that the son of the devil could love so humbly. At the end of the scene, Shenyi seemed to be told something that was on his mind and was extremely angry. However, I can help you get poplar seeds. Muchenyi didn't believe her. He was from the vampire clan and was chasing Yang Zizi, so how could she help him? What's the purpose? Muchenyi had already seen through her mind. Since she chose to help him, this must be a deal. Then let me be frank, I love brother Shenchi, and I want to get him. We each get what we need, isn't it the best of both worlds? Lun Shenchi violated the rules of the vampire clan. If you protect him like this, aren't you afraid that Gui Zongliang will be dissatisfied with you? Muchenyi still knew a lot about the vampire clan. He has been dissatisfied with me since I was born. Do you think I will care? Yang Zizi shrugged and smiled casually. In the physical education class, during free time, Yang Zizi ran to Lun Zhenqi's office happily to find him. Recently, he had been staying at school and doing the company's work at school and at home. Occasionally, vice versa, when I first went to the company, I helped him walk around. But halfway through, he suddenly saw the back of Lun Zhenqi. He was walking hurriedly in one direction. This direction was the only road leading to the mountain behind the school. Yang Zizi called after him, but he didn't seem to hear him and kept rushing forward. Until he chased him to the back mountain, Yang Zizi suddenly realized that something was wrong. It was not a prosperous time at all. Sure enough, the figure from behind took off his cloak and turned around with a proud smile on his face. Gui Kale, what did you want to do by bringing me here? This princess said that the prosperous world belongs to me. If you insist on snatching it away, what can you do? Gui Kale slowly walked towards her step by step. If you dare to touch me, I will kill you. Yang Zizi suddenly pulled out a knife and put it on Gui Kale's neck. Ha 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 ha. Gui Kale suddenly laughed loudly. It was such a ridiculous joke. If human weapons could kill her, how could she have the chance to talk to her here? Human beings are just human beings, extremely stupid. Gui Kale gave her a look of disdain. Yang Zizi swung the knife and slid it towards her neck without hesitation. A cut was made by a knife, and blood began to flow out, but soon, the cut healed automatically. Gui Kale suddenly grabbed her neck and whispered, this princess really hates you. If it weren't for you, brother Shenchi would definitely love me. As he spoke, Gui Kale secretly lit a fire in the palm of his hand. Muchenyi, who suddenly arrived, kicked Gui Kale away and directly kicked him off the cliff. Gui Kale summoned his huge wings and flew in the air. She is jealous and hates why a little human can be loved by vampires and even demons at the same time. They obviously have no heart, so why should they treat a human differently? Let me go. Yang Zizi struggled hard. Much Shenyi directly knocked her out with an irritated look on his face. Looking at Yang Zizi lying quietly in his arms, I love and hate him at the same time. Why do you always make me make exceptions? End of this chapter. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 150. Chapter 150 Imprisonment. After class, Yang Zizi was nowhere to be found, which drove his brothers and Lun Chenchi crazy. You can tell me where Zizi is now? The brothers felt that the biggest suspect was Guikale and asked her frantically. Guikale was irritated by the ghostly appearance of his brothers and shouted in a high voice, "Are you crazy? Yang Zizi is gone and you came to question me. How could I know? Here, you hate Zizi the most. The god of war loves her, you hate her, we dote on her, you hate her. I tell you, if Zizi is in any danger, I will not let you go." Yang Zizi began to regain consciousness, and her head was in severe pain. She sat up pressing her temples, looking at the unfamiliar scenes around her, and a damp smell hit her nostrils. It was so dark that only shadows could be seen. "You're awake." Suddenly, a familiar voice came, and Mujinai walked in with a candle in his hand, and the room was brightly lit. He put the candle on the candlestick and walked towards her slowly. The horns on his head were clearly exposed. "Where is this?" She started to get nervous. "This is where? My home is the 18th level of hell." Mushinai spoke slowly, but his eyes were doting. "What? 18 levels of hell? Did she die?" "She also reached the 18th level. 18 levels of hell." Shen Yi seemed to see her doubts and said with a smile, "Don't worry, you are not dead yet, you are still alive, but you will live here from now on, my future queen." "What nonsense are you talking about? How can I, a human, be the master of the devil?" Yang Zizi pushed him away and tried hard to escape, but it was pitch black ahead and he couldn't see the way clearly. No exit. Shen Yi didn't stop her, because no one could make him take out his palm except him. "Muchinai, you bastard, let me go quickly." Yang Zizi grabbed his collar angrily. It was absolutely impossible for her to live here for the rest of her life, absolutely impossible. Muchinai angrily dragged her down on the bed, held her down, and said harshly, "Yang Zizi, don't do whatever you want just because of my love for you. I tell you, if you are angry, my lord, I won't be polite to you. Muchinai, you are so pathetic. Although you have powerful abilities, you use this method to imprison someone who doesn't love you at all. Don't you think it's ridiculous?" Yang Zizi suddenly laughed at him. "No matter what the means, as long as you can be by my side, I dare to do anything." Mushinai's eyes were bloodshot. In order to get her, it didn't matter what he imprisoned her. "You are really hopeless. Is it so difficult to be with me? I can give you everything you want." His eyes were pleading, but he couldn't notice it himself. At this moment, he felt so humble in front of the woman he loved. "I don't want anything you give me. Can you let me go? Please." Yang Zizi held his arm tightly. As long as he let her go, she would not pursue anything. "How did you ask me to let you go? I love you so much that I want to die, but you don't even look back." Every time he saw Yang Zizi turning a blind eye to him and being intimate with Lun Chenchi, his heart felt as if it had been hollowed out. It seemed to hurt, but she didn't care at all. End of this chapter.